Hello and welcome to Tarot and the Suit of Wands, the element of fire. So here we are with the Queen of Wands. If you're in a situation, this may well turn up. If you're reading for yourself, it may well turn up for yourself. If you're reading for someone else, it may well turn up for your querent representing herself. She's a woman, or is she? Not necessarily. That's something I talked about in a video that I made about the magician and the fool. The fool and the magician. Gender in tarot is not set in stone. A queen can represent a male character. A king can represent a female character. Come on to that shortly. Queen of Wands in the Rider-Waite. Almost like it's a little bit overdone because there she is. There are lions behind her, lions on her throne, and she's holding a sunflower. Just in case you didn't get the message, this is about sun energy, it's about fire energy, and there's a little black cat there in the foreground. There's a little joke about cats and lions, I think. I like that. Wands about work, so you'd probably expect in a reading where someone's focusing very much on work and money, and most of my phone calls on Sundays are about work and money. People ruin their weekend worrying about going back to work, and Sunday evenings people are sitting there rather than chilling out and enjoying the last of the weekend. They're worrying about what's going on at work next week. But having said all that, work isn't necessarily something that we do for money, is it? You know, okay, lots of people volunteer, but we work all the time. We do housework or not. A lot of our hobbies are working in on a garden in an allotment. It's probably harder work than what a lot of people do for their paid employment. Queen of Wands. Yeah, she's a fiery woman. That doesn't mean hot-tempered. It means a woman of action, not words. They're different from the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is water energy, very caring. The Queen of Wands is much more about, right, come on, let's get out there, let's do. Wands suit really is mostly about action. The major equivalent of the Queen of Wands is the card of strength. This is very much about female strength. Being a strong woman, it's kind of different from being a strong man, isn't it? I think women are strong by supporting other people. Maybe a Queen of Wands Empress type character would be Anita Roddick, who set up the Body Shop, built a multi-million-dollar empire, but supported fair trade and empowered a lot of other women. The card of strength, there she is. She's defeating a lion, but there's no sword. She's not attacking the lion. She's not killing it. She's just taming it. And I think that's the difference between male and female energy in that context. It's very much about taming, and it's like convincing the lion to do what she wants him, and it's definitely a him. He's got a mane to do, rather than rushing in there with a sword and attacking him. Let's think about that one. Page of Wands. This turns up in readings a great deal. Pages. First meaning of all page cards is messages, messengers, which is what pages were. Message nowadays, of course, is text, email, phone call. Occasionally, a good old-fashioned snail mail letter. People are often asking about work issues. They're often asking about, I'm going for a job interview tomorrow. How's it going to go? Am I going to get the job? So, Page of Wands, message about work, we kind of interpret as being something positive. Yeah. if you're going to get turned down from a job, I think you'd be more likely to have swords cards kind of conflict there in the future. But Page of Wands, yes, it's about message, fresh start, new beginning. But a message about work could be you're going to be made redundant, or your company are relocating to somewhere where you can't just up sticks and move to. But pages can also be fresh starts and new beginnings, or children, people who work with children. The Page of Wands often comes up in the reading. But a new beginning, sometimes tarot says this is what you need to be doing. So, come on, it's time to get out there. This might go with the Magician, which is about you have skills, you have talents which you're not using, and it's time to start using some of those. Come on, maybe look at online courses or evening classes, or maybe look at doing sort of some kind of part-time course with your job to extend and expand your skill set. Or maybe it's time for a complete change. It's very often the message of the Fool, the message of tarot is the message of the Fool. Just do it. Just start that new journey. Having said that, don't encourage anyone to take out an enormous bank loan. It's a really bad idea. The Knight of Wands, he turns up. He'll turn up a lot, and he may well turn up when you're getting that inevitable question of, we've exchanged a few messages on the dating site and we're having our first date on Saturday. How's it going to go? He's a knight, not a king. Now, age, it's not about how old someone is. It's really more about their approach to life. There's a lot of recycled teenagers out there. A lot of retired people still hacking around on motorbikes. That would be a typical Knight of Wands character. Somebody hacking around. Yeah, somebody who's still out there, still young inside. On the other hand, it can be a young guy who perhaps lacks a bit of emotional maturity. Look at the Knight of Wands. There's lots of lions and lots of salamanders on the illustrations in the suit of Wands, just in case we don't get that this is fire energy. He's rushing off to the left. He's charging off in the wrong direction. A lot of fun to be with. He could well be the guy who'll phone you on a Thursday and say, hey, let's go away this weekend. Could really blow the cobwebs away. Yeah. The King of Wands often turns up if he's an ex-partners. For some reason, are more likely to be kings than knights. I think maybe because it's an older energy in Aquarian's own life, with the workaholic man. Yeah, the man who still wants to put in a sort of 14-hour day at work because he thinks it's a manly thing to do, rather than actually coming home and putting the children to bed, that kind of thing. It's often, if people are asking about relationships, it's about work-life balance, and of course for a lot of people work-life balance is not balanced. People are an awful lot of people are working we work here in England, we work the longest hours in Europe. We are obsessed with being on that treadmill, and it is a huge issue for people. It really is. Which is why so many people are 10 of Wands. 10, it's come to completion. The only place to go from 10 is back to 1. There he is massively overburdened. Now, if this turns up in a reading, and you also have quite a lot of Cups cards there, and maybe the Lovers, perhaps it means it's not so much overburdened because there's a lot of people work 2 jobs. It can also mean overburdened emotionally. Emotion, processing emotional stuff can be incredibly hard work. That you know, if you have, let's say, for example, and I do get questions like this. If somebody is perhaps looking after maybe a parent, perhaps a partner who is at the end of their life, that's a huge amount of work, but it won't go with coins because you're not being paid for it, and you're massively overburdened. And it's not just physically pushing an adult in a wheelchair is different from pushing a child in a pushchair. Do you know what I mean? But it's not just the physically doing it. It's also the emotional strain of actually having to look after somebody who usually looked after you. Do you know what I mean? You know, being incredibly shouldering too much, taking too much responsibility. It can go a lot with this sort of almost burning martyr sort of approach to life of I have to do everything, I am essential. Goes with the Empress. I run an empire and the empire is my family, and oh, if I don't do things, they don't get done. If I didn't cook for everyone, they wouldn't eat. Really? You know, this does what it says on the tin. Look, come on, it's time to stop trying to do the impossible. You know, it really is. 9 of Wands. This isn't necessarily about work, actually. If you look at him there, he's wounded. He has a bandage around his head. He's looking around, creating problems. And I think we do this for ourselves a great deal because advertisers constantly tell us that we must be aware of problems. And, you know, they'll try and sell you insurance for your washing machine. What would you do if your washing machine went wrong? Well, I'd go to the laundrette. But yeah, it is constantly worrying about things that might happen. Yeah. Constantly, is everything going to be all right? And of course, this is what people have come to you for. This is why people want a tarot reading, because they just want to know that it's all going to be, you know, stop worrying. Just chill a little bit. Yeah. You know, come on. If your car breaks down, you can phone a breakdown service. Somehow or other, it'll work out, and trust me. 8 of Wands is very different. This is like the Hanged Man or the 4 of Swords. It's very much about everything is up in the air. There is nothing you can do about it. You can only wait. Common questions. My house is up for sale. It's been up for sale for months. Somebody's coming to view it at the weekend. Do you think they'll buy it? Yeah. It's a situation that is up in the air. Property hasn't been changing hands for years now. Globally, the economy seems to be quite stagnant and we don't seem to be coming out of it. I mean, this is the impression I'm getting. But maybe it's because the people that are calling me are the people with problems. But, you know, yes, I have a business, it's up for sale. When am I going to sell it? Yeah, and it's when is this situation going to come down to earth? Much as it would be lovely, much as we want to be able to say, yes, you'll sell your house, your business, whatever, by next Tuesday. Sometimes you can't, and it's not honourable, really, to make stuff up. If you do get this, perhaps in a future bit of the reading, it'll be look. Well, it doesn't look as if the people who come in to view your house will actually buy it, and maybe that's for the best. Maybe they wouldn't be very easy people to deal with. Yeah. it's life is often hanged man, 8 of Wands. It is often stuck, and people are often in this situation. 7 of Wands, fighting unseen enemies. There he is. He's using his wand, his stave, his baton as a sort of little John type quarterstaff. But there are no enemies. There is no one holding those quarterstaffs up. This turns up if people are worrying unnecessarily, which of course people do. We all do. But how can I put this nicely? Let's just say it. Common question: is my partner having an affair? Is he cheating on me? Is she cheating on me? And it's often because they're maybe texting perhaps an ex or perhaps someone at work, and you know there is no one there that you are worrying completely unnecessarily. So if you have the 8 of Wands together with the Lovers, 3 of Swords, kind of a broken heart. You know that it's about relationships. If you have this with other Wands cards and coins, pentacles, money, you know it's worrying unnecessarily about money. But I think worrying about money is kind of the thing that actually maybe stops us getting into debt and all the rest of it. This one, 6 of Wands. Let's all cheer here. Let's all do a Mexican wave. This is victory. Look at him there. He's wearing a laurel wreath, and there is a laurel wreath on the top of his stave. He's riding a white horse. Death and the sun also ride white horses. Terry Pratchett Discworld fans, that's of course Binky, Death's horse. You know, there he is. He's sitting upright. He is victorious. But so obviously people like this. People like to believe that they're going to be victorious. They're going to win through. Victory is something you work for. Victory is something you earn. But bear in mind, you know, people coming for a tarot reading may well be asking you something like, going to court next week. I've got to face my ex across a courtroom about custody of the children. How's it going to go? Well, victory isn't quite 7 of Swords. It isn't quite one party wins, one party loses. It's not about 5 of Swords. It's not about defeating someone else. It is about achieving what you've worked for. So perhaps if somebody has a business that isn't going very well, but you know, yes, achieving everything they worked for. But you know, if you have 6 of Wands victory and quite a lot of Swords cards in a reading, then you know you're looking at a positive outcome with dispute resolution. Yeah, that's slightly different from defeating somebody else, isn't it? This one, 5 of Wands. This speaks for itself, really. If you look at those fives in tarot, are never good. Fives, if those people all work together instead of all battling each other, they could create a pentacle. They could create coins. They could create money. This turns up either with families, where you get families who are constantly arguing, or it turns up in work situations. But a lot of workplaces, I think you get pseudo families, and you get that sibling rivalry, and you get people behave like children in a playground, and they're just endlessly squabbling, and it's a kind of a hobby for people. It's like they need their own personal little soap opera. All soap opera plot lines have a certain amount of conflict. Yeah, there's always some sort of argument going on. Yeah, in this situation, the only thing you can do is step back from it, because none of those people want to play happy families. None of these people want to cooperate. They would rather waste huge amounts of energy in endless conflict. So, you know, who knows why workplaces sometimes have professional, dispute resolution people who go in. That there just are people who enjoy that kind of thing. Probably be better in politics, wouldn't they? The Four of Wands, in a sense, goes with the Six of Wands, goes with victory, because this is about harvest. Look at the harvest garland there, and people celebrating. People, of course, usually celebrate harvest. What does harvest mean? You sow seeds, you nurture a plant, and it takes a long time, and then you harvest it. So perhaps this is, a business actually taking off. Perhaps it is, you've worked very hard, maybe studied, done a degree, and yes, you harvest what you sow. So we hope that it's, yes, you're going to pass your exams, but it's, if there's people sitting in prison who are harvesting what they've sown, because what they sowed was negative energy, and they are harvesting that negative energy. But generally, this is a good card because it is a positive outcome. So if you're looking at this together with, together with Coins cards, you think yes, it's about work. It's about money. If it's with Cups, you think yes, it's about relationships. It's about families. It is about achieving what you've worked for. Yeah, people might be asking about moving house. I've put in an offer on a house, and I really, really want this house. Are they going to accept the offer? Three of Wands and Two of Wands we can kind of do together because they are so similar. The character on this looks a bit like the Magician, doesn't he? That short dark hair. There he is. It's a bit Merchant of Venice, waiting for ships to come in. It's about widening horizons, expanding horizons. It depends on where your current horizons are, really. But if somebody's asking, I've been offered a job, but it's the other side of the country, is it worth moving to take that job? Or I've applied for a job on the other side of the country, or I'm thinking about moving to the other side of the country because my partner lives there. Yeah, it is. But expanding horizons, to some people, it might mean simply it's time to make changes with my life. Maybe I'll join a dance class and learn to tango. It depends. If your horizons are quite narrow, if all you do is get home in the evenings and sit and watch TV, it doesn't take very much to expand those horizons, does it? Yeah. It's from, this is why the meanings of tarot cards are quite fluid, because it's all from your querent's point of view. Then it depends on their personality type and their outlook on the world. Ace of Wands. Aces win when you play cards. In a conventional deck of cards, wands would be spades, very much about work. Like the Christy Moore song, don't forget your shovel if you want to go to work. Aces, of course, in the Rider-Waite deck are some, there's a hand coming from out of a cloud offering you something. And this is about, yes, a new beginning, starting right at number 1, changes with work, new beginnings with work. Maybe it's time to start something new, but maybe it all can mean kind of like starting a new hobby, doing some volunteering. It is, yes, it's time for change. A little bit like the Page of Wands in that sense, but yes, it's fresh start, new beginning, but it's like, yeah, just do it. So I hope you're all embracing change and all enjoying your own fool's journey, no matter where you are on that journey. Because, I think as Oscar Wilde said, we are here to grow, to develop, and to learn. There we are. I hope you're enjoying your own life journey and not working too hard. If you'd like to see any of my other videos, there will be there will be full videos about all four suits. There are also some things about some of the major cards. So do feel free to subscribe, but equally look at the cards and see what they mean to you, because your response, your feelings, your interpretation is just as valid as anyone else's. I hope to see you again soon. Take care.